Instagram, he's becoming quite the guitar star. And they had School of Rock does a couple of events a year, but when they do a Saturday and a Sunday, do 2 shows. And he did 2 shows this weekend. And to say I'm on cloud 9 after watching him play is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you were like total Kris Kardashian in the front row with your camera, but
well, I'm not pimping him out like she did her girls,
no.
but yeah, I tell you. And then he told me they're going to be able to play at Abbey on the road on the river or whatever that thing is coming up in May. So I got to figure that date out. He's very quiet, doesn't say much, so
couldn't tell on stage.
Yeah, he's a different. He says he's playing a character on stage because when he's not on stage, you don't get 2 words out of him. But when he's on stage, he's a total different personality. And I guess that's what people do.
No, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
I can't play any instruments.
Well,
so.
you could. Sports wasn't his thing. And I tell everybody all the time, kids need different outlets. And a lot of kids, after watching him and some of his friends do music, they've kind of looking at that route. So
no, it was awesome.
I told him sports is great, but you can only play sports so long. And most people don't even play in high school. So people that were on the field in high school will come watch you on stage till you're 60. So
and he'll be making money, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what I told him. It can be a good little side gig.
Yeah.
Or you can turn it into a full-time if you're good enough. You know, a lot of these local bands play every weekend, sometimes 2 times on the weekend. Anyway, speaking of beds, did we talk about beds?
I don't think so.
Beds to Go, our sponsor today. There you go. They've partnered with us on quite a few initiatives we do. Shirley's Way Charitable Gaming does a lot in the community. We gave away probably over 100 beds last year to kids in school that sleep on the floor. Yes, that does exist. And I can't say the phrase I use because I upset another bed charity in Louisville the other day. So let's just say Beds to Go has partnered with Shirley's Way. They give us an at-cost price when we do things for kids. And we just bought a bunch of beds from some of the Dosker Manor people that they're moving out of that horrible building through LMPD. Beds to Go. And they actually sell furniture now. They've got recliners, and we just bought a recliner at my house. I needed a new one. But check out Jordan, Dennis, Beds to Go. They're an amazing community partner. Speaking of LMPD, we have Miss Ashley Rodman here. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Service. I mean, they really talked about Nick's life and his love for life and the things that he did in Louisville that were just so great. And then kind of how not just the foundation, Nick's foundation, but anyone who really knew Nick has really carried on his legacy in such a positive way. But yes, it was in 2017. He had just gone back to work from paternity leave. We both had a 2-year-old and a newborn baby, and he was so excited to go back to work. I mean, he loved having the time off with me and the kids, but I mean, he was always checking his phone, when he was off and checking with his squad buddies and, really staying in touch with what was going on in the police department and, on his beat, just making sure things were still good. And so when he went back to work, I mean, he was so excited. But I mean, he did. I mean, he went back to work and, not even an hour later, my mother-in-law actually came to my house first. I mean, we lived in the same neighborhood at the time. And, she had heard that Nick was in an accident. And
the first day he went back to work?
It was probably the third. It was his third night back.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, we're a police family. My father-in-law is a police officer. My brother-in-law is a police officer. My brother-in-law was working that night. So I think when everything kind of had gone down, I mean, I don't know for sure because I was at home, but I think when everything was kind of going down in the moment, obviously Nick and George or Andy and George had heard and not for sure knowing who it was. But yeah, my mother-in-law came to the house and she was the first one to tell me. I mean, honestly, I thought she was coming over to the house to help me. Like, I mean, that's how close we were. It's not like anyone, they just came over at any time to help. And she knew I was home with Mason and a newborn. And she rolled in the house and was like, something happened to Nick. And, in my head, I'm like, not thinking worst case scenario.
Of course, you wouldn't want to think that.
And my phone, so I started getting texts like, from other wives or other officers, like, we're thinking about Nick, we're hoping he's okay. And then I think that's when I realized.
What's going on?
I think that's when I realized, this isn't good. And, an officer came to my house pretty immediately. It picked me up. And I mean, as soon as I got to the hospital, it was, I mean, police cars everywhere. Like, and it's like I remember it like clear as day, like some of those moments. And then there's other things that I think I've tried to block out because it's like in order for me to keep going.
Sure.
Wasn't it a car wreck? Is that what it was?
It was. I mean, I hate saying accident. I mean, maybe it was they were going after a suspect, and the suspect hit his car going at a very high rate
So
of
it's
speed.
Criminal accident, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the guy who killed him, he is in jail.
Good. I was wondering if he did.
And that's, it's been 8 years, and I don't know if this time of year it's always going to feel like this. Like, it feels so much heavier towards the end of March. Like, really, as soon as March hits, it's just there's this heaviness of like just reliving your last moments, with Nick. And it was, I mean, we were at a very good spot, a very happy.
Just starting your life, really.
I mean, we had both just turned 30. Nick turned 30 in January. My birthday is March 3rd. I had just turned 30. I mean, we were having so many conversations. Like, Ellie was just born. Our family felt complete. I mean, we were just so excited to keep going. I mean, Mason was getting a little bit older. I mean, he was only 2, but he was getting into like different sports. And I know he was so excited to be, the sports dad. And I mean, he just had so much more life to live. I mean, we kind of had those conversations of, what next? Mm-hmm. Like, we made it to 30. I mean, we met in college, and I felt like we kind of grew up in our adult life together.
Y'all had been together for a very long time.
Yeah, we were really good friends in college, probably our senior year of college. And then we started dating right after we graduated.
Did you go to Holy Cross too?
No, I'm actually from Lexington.
Oh, okay.
Nick sucked me into Louisville.
Go Cats.
Yeah, I actually am not a Kentucky fan, but my friends in Lexington would hate me.
I know your father-in-law is a U of L fan.
Well, you know what's funny? The first question George asked me was, am I a UK fan? And I was like, I really don't care. Like, but I was born in California, and my family and I moved out to Lexington when I was 8. So I never really got into the like bleed blue.
Yeah.
And I really don't think I understood the
You look good in blue, by the way.
It's police blue.
There you go.
But my brother is a big UK fan. He's younger than me. But it is, the first question George asked me was, are you a Kentucky or Louisville fan? And I was like, don't really care. And then.
So now you're Louisville.
I mean, it was hard not to be a Louisville fan in the Rock.
I was going to say,
they have season tickets. Mm-hmm. And I mean, especially as we started having kids, I mean, Mason was like diehard Louisville fan from birth. I mean, I have pictures of Nick and Mason as Mason is 6 months old, like tiny, tiny baby at his first Louisville football game. And then it's like the older that Mason and Ellie get, seeing how excited they are with U of L stuff. And really, U of L has been amazing to our family since Nick has passed.
Well, I think your father-in-law knows quite a few of those folks, so it makes it even different.
Yes.
So yeah, your kids obviously don't remember anything about him then, at being 6 months old.
No, I mean, I feel like Mason remembers some things. Some of it I don't know if it's just from looking at photos and maybe hearing stories about him that helps him maybe remember. Ellie, I mean, obviously not at all. I mean, she was 5 weeks old. And I think that's the hardest part as a mom now is, as they get older, they each have their own grief and different types of grief. And I think Mason being a little older, remembering certain things or even having photos of him with Nick, I think helps him a little bit. But Ellie, I mean, she's made comments before, like, I didn't get to do that with daddy, or I didn't get to do this with daddy. And I mean, that first year was very hard. I mean, all of Ellie's firsts were our first without Nick, and trying to juggle like the joy of your baby and the loss of the love of your life on top of like trying to take care of yourself at the same time. I mean, I don't think I could have done it if it wasn't for the people in our life. Like,
Yeah, you got a
we
huge
have
family
such
around the area for sure.
and just our friends, our family, the support system. I mean, there for a while, I don't think I was ever home alone. Like for maybe the first 6 months. I mean, there was always
Well, that's good
someone.
because often when that happens, everybody's around up till the funeral, then people disappear, and then you got to sit down and figure out how to put your life back together.
And I feel like some of the stuff that we experienced even after Nick died, the, court part, like that, I feel like there was some delayed grief there. I think there was like a shock. There was a shock factor. And then it's like, now we're in court for what happened. And then the line of duty death benefits in Frankfurt. I feel like there was such a delayed grief for a moment. It's almost like the shock factor didn't come off until like a year and a half.
Well, you got the
later.
court. Yeah, you gotta keep wondering if the piece of crap that did this to him is going to get justice.
Right.
And wondering how. So you said the person went to jail, hopefully for life. I don't know. I didn't heard the case. It's not.
No, it was not life. I think it was 35 or 36 years, and I believe he's up for parole in 20.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least he's doing some time. A lot of times these judges let people out before they even get to see a jail cell when they've done something wrong. So, being a dad, I've got 3 kids, and seeing all the firsts, like you mentioned, it's tough to not have him around. But he was an athlete. I know at Holy Cross, they run the flag out on the field with his name on it every game, which is pretty cool. So for your kids to not be able to experience the dad, be able to be around for those things is horrible. But you're I don't know you real well, but you come across as a very strong-minded woman, which kids need. So I think your strength, obviously you're probably not strong. Everybody shows it out front, if you know what I mean. But you have your times, I'm sure, but you're a very strong woman. So that helps keep the kids along the straight path.
I remember I don't want to keep going back to like the day it happened or when it happened, but I do. I mean, I remember when we were told like he was not going to make it. And the not feeling in control and the just absolute like despair and the thoughts running in my head, like, how am I going to even go home and face my children? Like,
what do you tell them? Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, I don't even remember. I mean,
they were so young.
They was still so young. Like watching him try to process and her try to process even a little later. I mean, there's really just no words, but I remember like making a promise like to Nick, like I was not going to let our family like fall apart. Like he really worked so hard. I mean, he was like the joy, like he really held our family together, not just me, Mason and Ellie, but his parents and his brother and sister. I mean, he just had such a positive love. Like he was just so fun to be around. And I felt like he did everything he could to make sure that his family was okay. Not just me, Mason and Ellie, but his mom, his dad, his brother, his sister. Like he really wanted everyone around him to be happy and living a happy life. And to me, I was like, I have to do everything that I can to make sure I keep that going, because what a disservice to Nick. And, looking at Mason and Ellie, they've already lost their dad. Like they can't lose their mom too in the grief. Like there have been very ugly days. I mean, especially very early on. And even 8 years later when March hit, I mean, any of my closest friends can tell you like March is a hard month for me. Like I really have to like dig deep and keep trucking through even 8 years later. But I look at Mason and Ellie and they are my motivation like every day to like keep it moving. Like, and there are going to be days that are harder, but I also want Mason and Ellie to know that it's okay to have hard days too, and that it's healthy to work through it and have those emotions, because I feel like kind of stuffing them in isn't healthy either. So
did y'all ever go through any type of treatment or anything to try and get your thoughts together on what happened, or no?
Like
therapy.
Yeah.
Oh, my therapist is on point.
Answers that question.
She does not get paid enough. I will tell you that. I started therapy very early on, and this is another example of like having support people in your life. Very early on, one of my best friends from college, she was at the hospital too when everything was going on. There were so many of our friends. I mean, some came from like out of state, like immediately heard what happened and came to University Hospital. And probably 3 or 4 months later, I can't remember the timeline, but one of my best friends from college was like, Ashley, I'm not trying to overstep, but I did some research. I actually called a list of like 6 therapists. I questioned them. I told them kind of what was going on. And these are the 2 that I think would be the best for you. And she was like, I'm not telling you this is what you have to do. I'm not telling you you're doing anything wrong right now. But when you're ready, like, I know how overwhelming it can be to find a therapist that even fits for you. Because, I mean, everyone's personality is different, and you could mesh with one that maybe one of my friends wouldn't mesh with. It's just, you have to find one that's right for you.
Well, I'm glad she did that, because you wouldn't have done that on your own.
I was going to say, people always ask, what do you need? What do you need? That's something that you probably needed that you would never have asked for.
That's amazing.
And when I was ready, I called the number one.
My friend said.
And I started seeing her. And then COVID hit and things got a little crazy. People weren't doing stuff in person. And then my therapist had decided to go like telehealth only. And that was actually around the time, which a lot of people don't know, but my mom actually passed away.
Oh, gosh.
A couple years ago from cancer. And it was kind of around the same time where I had stopped seeing my therapist. But again, like, I kind of made a comment to some of my friends, like, I think I need to find another therapist who will see me in person. And my friends came through. I mean, we all started researching, and
kind of makes you wonder about your friends, though. How do they know so many therapists?
I think we all could use a little therapy.
Everybody could use it.
You know, when my mom died, I don't know if you went through this, but when my mom died, somebody was trying to get me to go see somebody. And the first person I went to see basically didn't listen to me. They just wrote me a prescription of pills, and I was like, you know, this is not for me.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your therapist sits and listens and actually.
Yeah. I mean, I need someone who's. I mean, I am strong-willed and I can be hard-headed, and I do need someone who's going to kind of give it to me straight. But also, you know, I don't need someone who's going to sugarcoat things either. Like, everything happens for
that doesn't help anybody.
Everything happens for the reason or God's plan. And I mean, I know some people find comfort in those words, but I mean, even 8 years later, I think some of those I still haven't really found the reason. I mean, I do know there's positive things happening since Nick was killed, but I can tell you, I would much rather him be here in person.
I get tired of well, God's got a plan. And I'm not real religious, and I grew up Catholic, but I was never real religious anyway. And I just don't buy that kind of stuff. Maybe there is, but I don't want to hear it. You know,
I think the worst one is they're in a better place. And I'm like, what?
Really?
A better place would be here with his kids.
I mean, I have like really held on to my faith. I think I struggled a lot early on with my faith because I was just so angry. Like, why Nick? Why our family? Not that I want this to happen to anybody else, but it's just like, why? Like, he was the best person. Like, anything that he did, he was just the best person.
Yeah.
And
too young for that.
Yeah. And it's just, I really struggled. But I mean, my mom too, like, my mom going through her cancer treatment and how rough it was. I mean, she held on to her faith like through it all. And I really admired her. And I think she really helped me kind of get back into, you know, this isn't happening to you, but you can kind of still hold on to your faith to kind of help you, you know, push through.
I guess I was never that strong in faith anyway.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, all she ever wanted to be was a grandma, to be able to, you know, enjoy her grandkids. And she didn't get that opportunity. And it's just wrong. So I know exactly what you mean by that, because, you know, I think people just don't know what to say. So they say stuff like that.
Sometimes you just need to listen.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything.
Well, and honestly, before Nick was killed, I probably was someone saying those.
Everybody probably has.
Because you really don't. I mean, what do you say? I mean, even now, I mean, I've had friends who, one of my one of our friends, Nick's friends, passed away not long after Nick did. And I've experienced it. And here now my friend has become a widow as well. And I've almost struggled trying to find the words because it sucks. I mean, it's like there's no positive, there's nothing really like positive that you can say that can really help other than it's like just keep going. Like no matter how hard it is, just keep
We had
going.
A lady in here that started 24-hour grief response, and she said really the only thing that makes sense to say is, I have no words. I'm here for you if you need me. And I think people, because a lot of people want to throw things out. You need to do this. You got, no, don't be telling me what I need to do.
Right.
Just listen. And really that's what people want, is to somebody to listen. But it sounds like you got a great therapist. Again, I would double check on why all your friends know all these therapists.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's where it's at.
So let's talk about the foundation. How soon after did you decide to do this?
It was about 2 years after Nick died, or maybe even a year and a half. Honestly, when I was writing my victim impact statement in court, it was so hard to like put into words like how this loss has impacted not just me, but Mason and Ellie. I mean,
because I'd want to jump across the table and strangle the person that did it, and you can't do that, unfortunately.
No.
So you're writing the statement and thinking about what you might do in the future.
And I knew like this was my opportunity. I mean, it was probably the first time that I was able to speak. I know it was in court, but I mean, I kind of stayed hidden for a while, and even after, I mean, it's still hard for me to, even doing this, I get nerves. Like,
I bet.
I'm a private person. This has kind of made me force myself to be more public.
Sounds like something else. I know.
And it's a very internal struggle. But when I wrote the victim impact statement, I mean, it was pages long. I mean, if you go back and even look at it, I mean, I probably rambled on for more than 10 minutes, but I realized like not only are like me, Mason, Ellie, our immediate family, like the community as a whole, like the loss of Nick was such an impact. I mean, so many people went above and beyond, like the community, businesses. I mean, there was fundraiser after fundraiser. Even while I was doing the victim impact statement, like a year and a half later, I mean, so many people were still wanting to do things for our family because they were affected by, you know, Nick's death in some way and the impact it had on them. And it really made me realize like, and really we were getting a lot of stories after Nick died of ways that he was helping people. And I was like, we have to find a way to like keep helping people in honor of Nick. There are so many people reaching out, wanting to do things for our family. And like, we are technically like, okay, right now, like, how do we form something to where we can help other people in honor of Nick and kind of keep his legacy going? And honestly, I mean, I had this idea. I didn't know which route we were going or how we were going to do it, but I was like, I want to find a way to help people in honor of Nick. Like, so many people helped us in our time of need. Like, how do we return the favor and give back? And I said it out loud one time to one of Nick's buddies on the police department. He jumped right on board. He's our treasurer now, Drew Fox. And he had some connections with people who helped us kind of spearhead things business-wise.
Yeah, because that part's not easy to figure out.
No, I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I had the idea, but I was like, how do we do this? And
been there, know what you mean.
You know, I'm so glad that we did this because it has also not given an opportunity just to like give back to the Louisville community. But I mean, we have our golf scramble coming up in June. It's one of our biggest events. And that day is such a mix of emotions because I mean, it's, you know, it's sad why we have to do it. But then I look out at the golf course. I mean, it's one of our biggest events. We have 30 teams in the morning, 30 teams in the afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
It gets waitlisted. People who can't play still come out to hang out and have fun. And like, those are things that Nick liked to do. Like, he was constantly like bringing people together. Like, his college friends knew his high school friends. His high school friends knew his police friends. Like, every aspect of his life and someone that he met and he became friends with. Like,
we're all
knew each other
intermingled.
because he was always wanting to bring people together. And then to see out at that golf course, friends from high school, friends from college, police, people who didn't even know Nick, but maybe they know our family, or it's just like, it's a day that I know Nick would love. And I feel his presence. Like somehow it's like, you just get this overwhelming, like, he would love this. But then you have the mix of emotion of like, I wish he was here. But then if he was here, we wouldn't be doing this. So it's just such a...
Yeah, I get it.
It's such a struggle.
And nobody ever wants to go through this, but you don't know the impact somebody had in their life until after they're gone. So for that many people to show up for him and your family means that he had such an impact at such an early age.
And I don't think he knew.
No, probably not. I mean, my mom was quiet, didn't know anybody, but when her funeral, they had to bring in, it was overflow. They had to keep opening doors, and I didn't realize she knew so many people.
Right.
But, she was a very quiet, humble person. But you're right. You just never know.
Right.
So what is your all's mission? What do you raise money for?
We partner with a couple of different organizations in Louisville. Like we have the scholarships at Holy Cross. We they have to apply and they fill out an essay, which you all do it too. So you kind of know how it goes.
We need to do one. Of course, we've given them a lot of money. Holy Cross. I was talking to Danielle the other day. She told me, but we do one at Notre Dame. Actually, we just sent them off to the local private schools.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do a $1,000 renewable scholarship for all 4 years. We give it to 2 incoming freshmen. They fill out the application and send in references and fill out an essay. The Holy Cross is another South End community that has really taken me in. I know Nick went to Holy Cross and he graduated from there, but I'm not from here. And
I would have known that
from the moment Nick passed. They really took me in as one of their own.
It's a tight-knit group.
It really is. So honestly, the scholarships was one of the first things that we did. Nick went to Holy Cross. His family worked their tails off to be able to have Nick go to Holy Cross. His brother also went to Holy Cross. It's expensive. And I do believe Nick had some scholarship to be able to help him go to school there, maybe through the FOP. I can't remember. But I remember thinking, this is something that we need to do. Because even though Mason and Ellie were only, 2 and a baby, we had those conversations, how he really wanted our kids to go to a Catholic education and how he loved his experience at Holy Cross and he would love for the kids to be able to do that, at a younger age. And I just was like, this is something, that we need to do. So I'm very excited when we do the scholarship because I think it's something Nick would love. And we really get to know the kids that way too.
Do you look for kids that kind of what's the word I look for? Embody what Nick was? And
there's a couple. Yes. It really just depends. honestly, the essay really, if your essay kind of gets you in the feels, it's kind of, it's kind of what we look towards. Everyone on our board looks through them and we kind of have a process. I don't want to just have them all scattered on the table and just be like, nope, you get it. We really put a lot of thought into who gets it. And then it's cool because Holy Cross does those, it's that partners in mission breakfast where we get to meet the kids and kind of
I didn't get invited to that this year. What's up with that?
I don't know. I know.
Sorry. I didn't mean
calling her
out. But it was cool to kind of get to know the kids and really the ones who are, when we first started this, some have already graduated. So to kind of see the kids grow from, their freshman year of high school to their senior year and just kind of what they're into and sports and, Mason, we like going to the football games and Mason likes playing baseball. So sometimes we'll go to the baseball games and just kind of seeing the kids and Mason and Ellie knowing who they are. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Most of those high school kids are very good with the littles like that.
Yeah.
So they probably enjoy when they come.
Yeah. But then it's cool because on the flip side, some of the seniors at Holy Cross will do their senior service project with us. So this past March, we had 2 seniors at Holy Cross who did a Police vs. Fire basketball game. And we did it at Notre Dame in the gym. And it brought in some money for the foundation. And we actually donated that money back to LMPD's victim service unit because they help take care of families that are affected of violent crimes. And the call that Nick was on when he was killed, it was a domestic violence call. So we try to partner and do things like that because there's meaning there. I mean, an LMPD, I mean, we support them and, stuff like that. But it was really cool to see the seniors, want to put on an event. And
That's
it was a cool
second or third year y'all done that, right?
This is the second year that we've done it. There were 2 kids last year who started it, and it was really their idea. Like, it was Roland and Wes Myman.
Yeah.
Roland Royce and Wes Myman.
Somebody knows everybody in town.
But it was cool because, Wes has fire and Roland has police and his family. And then this year, the incoming seniors said they wanted to do it again. So
hopefully that carries on.
I think it will. I mean, even if the seniors decide that that's not what they want to do, it's such a cool community event. Again, I talked before how Nick loved bringing people together. It was such a cool event to see police, fire, and their families. And there was a lot of South End families that came. Yeah. Again, to come together to honor Nick and do good things.
So what else do y'all do? You said you do the scholarship. You partner with other organizations in town, or do you actually give money to those who are in grief? Is that what else that you do with the foundation?
No, it's not really just in grief. I mean, really, like this past winter when we had the horrible winter months, we did a service project with Notre Dame, the 2nd and 3rd graders. And we teamed up with South End Street Angels to help with their Thanksgiving meals.
Did y'all go clean out? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we went and did the Thanksgiving meals and helped with, getting mac and cheese and mashed potatoes. Yeah. And the experience itself is cool because we're kind of like the middleman and the facilitator in that specifically, I guess, because, we'll go to Notre Dame and say, hey, we have this idea. We want to partner with South End Street Angels. Do you all want to help? And, Miss Titus will say, yes, we're good. And this is the 2nd year in a row that we've done this. I think the first year we ended up just collecting like canned goods to be able to help them. Oh, and we did care packages in the winter. The kids brought in like Band-Aids and like Aquaphor and just care packages to be able to hand out to our houseless population. Yeah. But this year we focus on the Thanksgiving meals. And I mean, the amount of food that these 2nd and 3rd graders brought in was insane. And we kind of set it up in their community room where we had everything separated and the kids went shopping and they had their little bag and they each like picked out one item for each thing and wrote like a card to hand out to the families. And then we went to South End Street Angels to deliver that and helped hand out the food. And we also had some Holy Cross High School seniors there, maybe some juniors who needed some service hours. So it's almost like we're all just kind of grouping and partnering together to support missions, to support different missions. And that's kind of what we do. I mean, there's so many other organizations that already have kind of something in place. And it's like, why don't we join in to either help? Like Christmas time, Drew Diener does Cram the Van, where they collect money for Wayside and St. Vincent de Paul, Salvation Army, Wesley House. I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting, but for these organizations to go on a like shopping spree at Kohl's to get stuff for families and kids at Christmas time. And we started Nick and Ollie's Toy Chest, which honors Nick and our friend Paul Oliver, who also passed away. I mean, Paul passed away around Christmas time and he loved Christmas, and same with Nick. I mean, they were like kids at heart. And we were like, this would be such a cool way to honor both Nick and Ollie, is start this Nick and Ollie's Toy Chest. And then when we heard that Drew Diener was doing Cram the Van, the last 3 years, I think we've given them about $45,000 to be able to help these families at Christmas time. And then the Police Foundation, I mean, we partner with them for a couple different things, which the Victim Service Unit, where they help families of violent crime. Some of our golf scramble 2 years ago went to their Officer in Distress Fund, which that really holds a special place in my heart anyways, because that Officer in Distress Fund really helped, me, Mason, and Ellie in their early stages.
Does the LMPD Foundation kind of put that on too? Is that, or do they kind of lead the efforts on the police?
For like help, like the Officer in Distress Fund.
Yeah.
So the Louisville Metro Police Foundation has the Officer in Distress Fund.
Yeah. Okay.
And that helps officers who are going through hard times.
Yeah, because I know you know Rebecca, but her story's horrible too. Mm-hmm. We need to get her in here one day.
Honestly, like Rebecca has been my saving grace. I mean, she has been.
She is a getter.
She has been someone I have heavily leaned on because there's, you know, people have experienced loss and people have experienced, you know, a loss of a spouse or, you know, a parent or a kid. But like the gravity of this loss of a spouse in this way, like a death in a line of duty.
They go to work and they don't come home.
And like she gets it. Like,
yeah,
and I hate that she gets it, but
she doesn't play around.
I know. And she constantly is like, I hate that you've experienced this too. Like, I mean, she hates it for me and our family. And, you know, I've really leaned on her. And even with the foundation stuff, with Nick's foundation, I mean, even just kind of running things by her, because I really, like when I had this idea, I had an idea and I didn't really know where to go with it. So not only is everyone like supporting our family, but having people to help us, you know, keep the foundation going and helping us with these different events, and just having someone to have guidance to kind of pick their brain on how should we do certain things has been very helpful.
Yeah, it's very difficult when you're starting something from scratch, especially like a foundation, because just because you think your heart and soul is in it, you think everybody else will, but it's still tough to get people to show up to donate for the cause and things like that. It's very difficult.
For me personally, and we've talked about this with our board, you know, when I had this idea, Mason and Ellie were still very small. I mean, they were very young kids. Now they're 10 and 8 years old, and they are as active as ever. I mean, every weekend, I was just telling you all before this, like Mason had baseball this past weekend and Ellie had a track meet on Sunday. And it's like each day I'm like, how are we going to get through each day? Because there's just so much going on. And then you have the foundation and it's like, I feel like there's not enough time in the day. And, you know, I don't want to miss Mason and Ellie's thing. So I'm very like adamant on nothing is going to get in the way and of, you know, of Mason and Ellie's things. But in order for the nonprofit to grow and get bigger, it's like you got to put your all into it. And it's hard.
I totally get it.
It's hard. It is hard. And I tell myself, I'm like, okay, Mason and Ellie will be older one day. I mean, just kind of take the foundation in stride and, you know, keep doing the golf scramble and keep partnering with other organizations and just keep getting Nick's name out there. And, you know, again, I mean, it's the biggest part is just honoring his life and his legacy and people knowing who he is and doing good, like in honor of him. And it really is, it feels good for me because I really don't know if I would have made it through in those earlier days if it wasn't for people helping us. So if we can return the favor and help someone through some of their hard day, I mean, that's really all I want out of the foundation is just to keep his legacy alive and keep doing good in honor of him.
The one thing when we started Shirley's Way is I promised I would never miss anything that our kids did. Yeah. And we have 3 kids, and it's very difficult when they're so young because they're in the middle of everything and you want to be there and you want to coach, you want to, you know, but you know, you're big enough now where I'd say you could probably find somebody that would actually run the golf scramble for you and you could just show up and shake hands and kiss babies.
I'm really bad at losing control.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah, I'm the same way.
They're constantly like, let other people do this. And I'm like, but I can't. Like, I need to.
I get it. Yeah, I totally get that.
It's such a battle.
So what else do you do? Y'all do golf scrambles? You got any other events coming up that people need to know about? What's the website so people can check it out?
So the website is nickrodmanlegacyfoundation.com.
You got a Facebook page, obviously.
We have a Facebook page. We put a lot of our stuff on our Facebook page. Yeah. I feel like that's
easier that way.
Things out. We are like knee deep in golf scramble planning. We're still looking for sponsorships. The morning flight is full. We got, I think, a few spots left in the afternoon.
What do you have sponsorship-wise available?
We have the presenting sponsorship, which you guys did last year, which was super cool. It's $5,000. You're our presenting sponsor.
Did we not do it again this year?
I don't think we've discussed it yet. I mean, we can.
We're pretty easy to discuss. Should we have Mary cut on a $10,000 check today?
Ooh, 10?
Is that all right? Let's double down. How about that?
I mean, I'll come back to your podcast more often if that's what it takes.
Well, let's double up this year. We'll get Mary to get you a check for $10,000.
I'm pretty sure I'm rocking the Shirley's Way logo on the back of this shirt.
Oh, yeah?
I'm representing the Golf Scramble shirt today since it's coming up so soon.
That's usually what we do. We'll buy shirts for something and say, as long as you let us put our logo on the back.
Yeah,
and most
your
people
logo
don't really
is on the
care.
back of this one.
Well, we'll do that. How about that?
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys have always been so kind. I mean, you all sponsored the Scramble last year. I see Shirley's Way everywhere. I mean, I go to all these parks, and again, my kids are so active in sports. I mean, I don't think there is a baseball field without a Shirley's Way logo. So,
yeah, that's part of it. We believe in helping kids.
I mean, what you all do for the community too. And honestly, and I think we've talked about this before. I know we don't know each other that well, but seeing other people experiencing hard times and tragedy and pushing forward and doing things, it really helps me keep going, to be able to see other people work through their grief and keep moving. And I mean, y'all are someone that I admire and I look up to. So
appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys even having me out here and even letting me talk about Nick and our story and the nonprofit.
Ours has changed a little. When we got heavily involved in charitable gaming, we realized we were going to be able to expand our mission. And one thing we always wanted to do was something for kids. So we went down that route. And then when the gaming money kept growing, we thought, we can do things for other nonprofits. Right. So we were very lucky on the path we took with gaming. I guess lucky. I don't know. Lucky till now. But we'll see how it plays out in the next 6 months. But yeah, we enjoy doing it. And, y'all do great things.
Well, thank you. Cool. I appreciate it.
Well, one website one more time, how they can get you still have teams. You said you got a wait list for the Golf Scramble.
We have a wait list for the morning flight. Usually every year. I mean, it's
you need to do a whole weekend. Just do a Saturday and a Sunday.
I don't know if anybody can handle it. Like usually,
where's it at?
It's at Iroquois Golf Course, June 7th. We have a morning flight at 8 a.m., an afternoon flight at 2. Chick-fil-A will be out there with their lunches.
They do a lot for the community too.
They did so much for the kids, and I also like in the very beginning. They are such. It's Tony Carrico and David Blake. I see them out at the U of L baseball games.
I don't know them. I need to meet them.
They donated the food for our golf scramble last year.
Yeah, you're right. They sure did.
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, they're good people. But it's it's a good time.
Well, shout out. Didn't Joey and them donate a car?
So they do like the hole-in-one on the 18th
But
hole.
didn't they actually donate a car y'all raffled off, though, or something, or not?
It wasn't a Well, that may have been for you might be thinking of the event that they did for the kids in that.
I don't know. I was going to give him a shout out.
They did. They did.
The only reason it caught me is I was trying to get him to donate me one, and then he donated. Like, hey, at least he gave it to somebody.
Well, they did a donation for a car. Or I think it was for the organization at the fairgrounds.
It may have been.
Again, my memory that first year is right.
Joey Craig and Lance Cars, great people.
Joey Craig, though, every year they do the hole-in-one sponsorship on hole 18. I don't think it's a specific car that somebody wins, but it might be like a voucher. Yep. And I'm telling you, every year I'm staring at hole 18. Like, is someone going to hit it? Is someone going to hit it? And someone got really, really close one year. And I was just like.
Does he not make sure somebody's standing there to verify it hits?
There is someone there. But I want to witness it.
I can see Joey making sure it's got the proper club.
Trust me,
and it's not.
There is someone always there. But I am always eyeing it because I'm like, I want to see someone like jump up in the air for joy and win it, but no one's won it yet. Maybe this year. We'll see.
We just got a new mascot. Maybe we'll throw Kelly in the mat. Well, you won't be able to.
Gotta be huge and hot and pregnant.
She's having a baby. We'll find somebody. We'll sponsor it. And pretty amazing things. Horrible story, but it sounds like you've done a lot to try and keep his legacy alive. Obviously, it's in the name, the Legacy Foundation. So yeah. Father-in-law's moved off to the lake, hadn't he?
He did, but I swear I probably see him more now than I do.
Well, he's not going to miss the kids stuff.
No.
So when he was moving, I was like, do you realize you're going to be tough to keep up with the grandkids?
He coaches Mason's baseball team. He helped with football this last year. I mean, we have a guest bedroom. My brother-in-law has a guest bedroom. I mean, he's probably staying in Louisville more than he is in the actual lake when it's sports season. but he loves it. I mean, those kids keep him young. He's just like the kids help me keep going. I mean, it's those grandbabies help them keep going too. And Mason is like a spitting image of Nick. And I mean, his mannerisms and his little jokester, smart aleck.
Isn't it crazy?
And I'm like, I look at him sometimes and I'm like, you are your dad made over. Like,
do you have any videos that he can watch of his dad just to see? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, somebody said Graham walks just like me. I didn't realize I had a walk, but they said he walks.
Well, our friends, they're constantly like laughing because I'm always the one that has like the phone out to take pictures or videos. And I'm like, when everything happened with Nick, I am so thankful that I had my phone out all those times. I know everyone's like, live in the moment, and you can still live in the moment and have your phone out and record those moments. But I am so glad I have those videos for Mason and Ellie to be able to look at what their dad did and the silly stuff their dad did and what we all did together. And
the one thing I have with my mom, and it's sad, but it's a video of her sitting in a wheelchair in the kitchen talking one day right before she died. And, you know, back then there wasn't a lot of videos and stuff. We didn't have phones. So. But fabulous stuff. Thanks for coming in today.
I appreciate you having me.
Ashley Rodman, the Nick Rodman Legacy Foundation.org. Check them out. Get on the wait list for Golf Scramble. We'll talk her into having a second day on the Golf Scramble.
We do still have some openings in the afternoon. So if you want to play this year, get your team signed up because I think we only have 10 spots left.
Sign up online?
Yeah, you can sign up online. It's on our website. Everything's on our social media page. I'll usually, like everyone always is like, I got to sign up still. I procrastinated. And I'll usually throw out another like reminder and then I'll